You're live.
Live. Let me get the comments up. Listen, I'm walking a tightrope here because I know Eagles fans are like in a frenzy, and this is who I'm going to mainly talk about in this breakdown is going to be the Eagles. I'm going to get on to watching the Bucks and praying that the Bucks take care of business. Yes, you lost your chance at the 1 seed with that loss. It's not good. It also means that you probably have to, you could have to play this team again, in the playoffs. And, in a game where I thought, hey, had you played the script out the way you wanted to play it out with a lead, and I think you would have gotten there, I don't think it's a scary matchup. I think if Jalen Hurts remains in this game for a number of reasons, you probably win that game, but you got to give Washington credit. That was unbelievable, the way they made plays offensively. I don't think their game plan was to come out and air it out. But if you watch the last 45 minutes of this game, you would have thought that Josh Harris walked downstairs and was like, I want to show off the fucking quarterback. You know what I mean? And, you can't control losing your franchise quarterback. That's obviously the difference in how you carry out 4-minute mode, how you operate in the low red. That's the difference in how you operate in short yardage. There were situations for the Eagles in this game where I'm sure they would have picked it up or gone for it in short yardage situations. I think the hardest thing, you talk about the passing game, Kenny got enough in the second half to win. He also led him on a drive that should have ultimately been the game-winning drive, taking shots to A.J. Brown, hitting a couple, timely conversions. I thought he did a lot. But if the Eagles were going to ice this thing, they had to be able to run the football. And obviously, it's a different offense if you don't have a quarterback who gives you the threat of run. So many of these Eagles close out games. Look at the Pittsburgh game, for instance, just recently. Jalen with his legs can be the difference. And in these situations where you got the read option, where it's third and short, the red zone. The red zone, you're trying to score a touchdown. I believe it's out of the half. I don't remember exactly when, because there were 50 turnovers and 1 million possessions in this football game. But when Saquon Barkley's down there on 3rd and goal and you got to throw the ball with your running back, that's the difference there. You know what I mean? That is the difference in situations like that. And obviously, Kenny Pickett can't throw that pick, for as much as people, myself included at times, have been like, hey, we need more out of the passing game. Okay. Jalen wasn't turning the ball over at a high rate over this run. And I think, that one turnover from Kenny Pickett where Frankie Louvu, who knocked Hurts out of the game, and listen, I know Eagles fans are not going to be satisfied when I say this. I don't think that's capital D dirty hit. I think he's trying to finish a ball carrier who didn't slide. I don't put it in the class of Azeez Al-Shaair. It's on the fucking line. But as a defender, I would be fake if I said that guys I played with or teams I played on weren't trying to finish quarterbacks when they don't get down and protect themselves. It's a bang-bang play. I think it's on the line. If anything, it's a little bit late for sure. There's a bit of intent to finish him there, but I wouldn't put it in the like, oh my God, it's a Clowney spearing Wentz with his head thing. I think if you're an Eagles fan, you walk out of that game and say CJ Gardner-Johnson got thrown out because of we don't really know what, and he got punched in the face. There's no offsetting penalty. The Louvu hit doesn't sit well with you, but Louvu made a huge play to bait Pickett into throwing that little sit down route. He acted like he was going to jump the flat and then comes back inside. And at that point, I know Saquon gets that touchdown back quickly, but it changes the way that you run your offense. If you have an opportunity to go up 21-0, that game's played completely differently. So, there were a ton of instances as the game progressed, even though Kenny Pickett, the points were there. He put them in position to win. He made some key throws. I got to tip my cap to a guy that we hope we wouldn't see play at all this year. But the little things, man, like before the half, it's, you got a chance to convert on 3rd and very manageable, and you don't, and you end up having to, go into the locker room with a 1-score lead. Things like as a team trying to ice the game, P10 first play of the possession in the second half, and Becton busts on a run play, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 14. And when you don't have that quarterback who can get you out of trouble with his legs and in the run game, the margins become a lot slimmer. And I think that's what ended up happening, was like all the little things left Jayden and this team in the game. And I gotta say it, like, the D-line, who's played so well as of late, one of the biggest factors in this game was Jayden's legs. That 4th and 11, that's the game. If they can get out of there at that point on 4th and 11, I think up 2 scores at that point, that's the ball game. And I saw there were 3rd downs where, they're in empty and you don't have anybody in the A gap. You don't have anybody bouncing up. I don't know if they check to a trap type run, like quarterback keep, or if it was a design automatic check. But, there were situations with alignment, there were situations with execution, and then there were situations where the guy's just better. Like Jalen Carter is going to get paid a lot of money in this league to rush the quarterback. He's not going to always be able to get Jayden Daniels down on 3rd and 4, whatever it is, in the open field. That's just a situation where the guy's better. And, I think what's really cool about, if you're looking at this as a football fan in the NFC East, it's a little I don't think anybody thinks the Commanders are better than the Eagles right now. It's a perfect circumstance for them to get the win, and the better team today won. But what it tells you is, like, this kid's here to stay. The confidence they have in him to line up on 1st down out of his own end zone, take a shot at Darius Slay. The moon ball to McLaurin, which Quinyon Mitchell doesn't get fooled a lot. He thinks he's getting in, breaking route. You get the moon ball. Just his arm, his legs. This guy's going to be here a long time, and it's a bit of a statement, like, this is going to be hell. It's every time you play the Commanders, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And I think he showed that today. So CJ Gardner-Johnson leaving the game, that really hurts. I mentioned earlier the kind of curious circumstance around him leaving had to be verbal, because it wasn't physical. The safety depth, McCollum, getting beat on the play that draws them within 1, the communication on the final touchdown, which is between Bond and Blankenship. But I don't know what's being said. To have a quarterback of your defense on the field makes it easier. And I think also, like, for the offense as a whole, I thought that Washington's coaching staff did a great job defensively to make adjustments in the run game, which of course it got a little bit easier when you don't have to account for that extra guy. I thought they made adjustments offensively, and ultimately I thought they were aggressive enough at times, like hurrying up to go on the Zacchaeus touchdown. That's a little wrinkle there as the Eagles are trying to change personnel, and Slay gets caught running off the field, and they're totally out of sorts. So definitely a look into the future as far as, like, what you're going to have to deal with this guy. Listen, coming to this game, we're saying he's down Noah Brown. Ertz is up now. He's down Eckler. He doesn't have a lot of guys in the first place to throw to. I think it was just an amazing, gritty performance from him. And it was a gritty performance from Kenny Pickett, but it just wasn't enough because he didn't have a full deck. The full deck would have been this offense with the quarterback run involved. And then obviously some of those shots that you could take to A.J. Brown that he hit for penalties or even receptions might go for longer. So if you're an Eagles fan, you take this one on the chin. It sucks. Sometimes your starting QB goes down. And I thought actually organizationally, I was, for the most part, happy with Kenny Pickett's resilience and their ability to score points without the starting quarterback. However, a lot of those threes turn into fours down the red zone and that sort of thing. And that's why you need your defense to step up. They didn't play their best game. They just didn't. And, you have to wonder how much of that was the safety leaving the game, but also that young quarterback is just incredible. Incredible. Good news, Jake Elliott hit a kick. That's a good thing. I feel like there's been a long period here where we've been like, has he lost his mojo? He's up and down. I blame Dolph Lundgren for that fucking DraftKings commercial or whatever it is, where he's like, this kicker doesn't miss. He's giving out plays in the seafood restaurant. I wish he could have given me some fucking plays today. I mean, it was a massacre. And I didn't even bet the Eagles. It was I was a flat earther for 3 hours, dude. I backed Aaron Rodgers. I bet the fucking Jets. I did it. Just a grossly mismanaged game by that organization. They should have been on the DMB list a long time ago. Not much else to say about the Eagles game. I know I'm kind of. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything here. But imagine this. I mean, you're going to get Jayden Daniels playing against the likes of Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter the next 10 years. So I don't know if you're an Eagles fan. I know it doesn't make the road any easier, but if you're a fan of football, these two teams are going to be a lot of fun to watch. And the Eagles obviously losing the 1 seed basically, right? And I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain to make sure there's nothing I'm missing. But Eagles losing the 1 seed. The Eagles still make the 1 seed if the Eagles beat the Cowboys and Giants, which we expect to happen. The Lions lose to the 49ers and Vikings, which could happen. And then the Vikings have to lose to the Seahawks or Packers, which could absolutely happen. Lions came out today and looked really good. Vikings didn't lose to the Seahawks. They would have to lose to the Packers. These things could happen. Now, if you're watching the Seattle game, God bless it. Seattle Seahawks have to be the most frustrating team in football to watch. We opted into the full Geno experience today, the whole thing. Don't give it to me halfway. Take a second. I need to see the picks. I need to see the brilliant throws. The throw to JSN before the half down the seam is like, there's only a couple guys that can make that throw. There's only a couple guys that can make the throws he makes on interceptions too. And, that game was a really fun game to watch, but the Seahawks just can't get out of their own way. I think that offense, it's like all or nothing. I think they're almost better when they just go tempo. The run game obviously is a problem for them. I just ended up watching a little bit of that one. So now it's on the Sunday Night Football. Texans, somebody said Texans are frustrating. I agree with you. And I'll say this right before I hop on here, and I'll talk more about it on the live show tomorrow. But, in a game like that, and I think CJ is one of those dudes. I do. I'm a CJ Stroud. Once I know a quarterback who he is, I think this he's got the right stuff in him. But he wasn't ready for this spot. And, I don't think Houston as a team was ready for that spot. I think the biggest difference is Kansas City has been there a million times, and they're a team that's not going to fuck it up in that situation. And Patrick Mahomes, who hadn't played his best football this year, he knew what to do in the biggest moments of the game. When Kansas City is in third and manageable, you want to know if they're going to score. Are they going to be in third and long? They're going to be in 3rd and 5. They're going to be in 3rd and 3. They are playing with a lot of it's almost like a surgical approach to 1st and 2nd down. And their offense is changing right now where they're trying to open it up a little bit. You can see that. Hollywood Brown back, threw the ball to him outside the numbers, 3rd and 4th down. Worthy is a huge part of this offense now. It feels like with the move, putting Joe Thuney out at left tackle, I think they're taking a little bit of, water out of the bucket in the middle with the run game, and those 3 guys lining up next to each other and saying, okay, we're going to spread it out a little bit more. We would rather have to eke along in the run game a little bit more than we were and have the best player on the planet in Patrick Mahomes with a little bit more time to throw. And I think in that game, like the Tank Dell injury was huge. He was the only guy who was beating Kansas City. Collins had some plays, but when he went down, CJ was crying and the whole thing. And I get it. In those moments, those guys you spend every waking minute with. Not only that, it's a big part of your team's chance. And when he goes down the end zone there, they never recovered. Fairbairn came out and missed the kick immediately. And the things I'm talking about, when you have a chance, at midfield to go take a lead in this game at Arrowhead, and it goes run, screen that you fuck the execution up on 2nd down to Nico Collins, and then on 3rd down, you you get a drop from Schultz. Like, that's the big moment in the game. They're not ready for it. And Kansas City was. There's a big difference. And I think that's why, if you're a Texans fan, you're going to be fine. I know it. You know it. This year, it just doesn't feel like this team has enough juice in big moments. And then losing Jimmy Ward, losing Shaq Mason, losing Tank Dell sucks. So that game, played out how maybe you would have thought it would have played out. And then obviously we'll talk more about the AFC matchup, which was not as entertaining a game, kind of wide open, big win for Baltimore Saturday, in a series where they've been getting worked for years. I mean, that was huge for them, but sloppy as hell. All right. We'll catch y'all. Thanks for joining. Let's go Bucks. Tomorrow at 2:30. 2:30. See y'all there.